Well, welcome to this discussion about algebraic and polynomial expressions. And this is critical skill number 1 for college algebra. And we're going to start today with a little bit of a dialogue about evaluating algebraic expressions. So, if we're talking about algebraic expressions, I guess it would be helpful for us to know what one of those is. So, an algebraic expression is a combination of a couple of things. We've got some numbers and we've got some variables, and they are combined using 4 operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay? And so any combination of numbers and variables using those operators is considered an algebraic expression. Now, you might ask, what about exponents? Well, since exponents are just repeated multiplication, they count as well. So, the very first thing that you would want to be able to do with algebraic expressions is to evaluate an expression. So what does that mean? That word evaluate, if you look at that root word, we want to find the value of the expression if we're given a specific value of the variable or variables. We may have one or more variables. So let's say we're given a specific value for a variable. We're just going to substitute that in, and then we're going to apply the rules for the order of operations. Okay, we need to remember what those rules are. So some of you know this affectionately as PEMDAS. I particularly don't like the P in PEMDAS because I feel like it's a little bit misleading. So I prefer G because G will include all possible grouping symbols. So anything within those parentheses is one of those grouping symbols, but you could have a bracket, a set of brackets, and anything within the brackets is considered grouping symbols. Anything underneath a radical, that radical functions as a grouping symbol. And same with fraction bars. Anything above a fraction bar, you could think of as in a set of parentheses. They're a group. And same with below the fraction bar. So anything that's grouped, you're going to combine first. You're going to apply anything that you can within grouping symbols first. Then the next thing you're going to do is apply all exponents. So after you've done the grouping, you're going to apply the exponents. Next, you're going to do all multiplication and division. This is important that you understand multiplication and division is the same level. Okay? It's the same in the hierarchy of order of operations. And in fact, they're pretty much the same operator, right? Because I can say I'm going to multiply something by 1/2, or I can say I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm really doing the same thing, okay? So what's important with multiplication and division is I am going to proceed from left to right in the expression. Okay, and the very last thing we're going to do is all addition and subtraction, and that is also going to be from left to right. All right, so let's give this a shot. Here are some examples. I've got 3 examples for you here. The first one is this one, 8 plus 6 times the quantity x minus 3, and that quantity is being squared. And we're going to evaluate this for x equals 13. So this is telling us what we're going to substitute in for x. Take that 13, sub it in for x. That's the very first step. Just rewrite that expression with that x substituted out and the 13 replacing it. Okay, now we're going to walk through that order of operations, and we're going to say to ourselves, self, do I have any grouping symbols? And in this case, I have a set of parentheses, which is a grouping symbol. So I'm going to focus here on that set of parentheses, 13 minus 3. 13 minus 3 gives us 10. And that's the very first step. We're going to replace what's inside the parentheses with just 10. Okay, I've taken care of grouping. Next, I want to take care of exponents. And I see that this 10 is being squared. Notice that that squaring is on the 10 and on the 10 only. So I'm just squaring the 10. So 10 squared is also known as 100. Okay, next we're going to deal with any kind of multiplication and division, and we're going to go from left to right. So no multiplication here, no division here, but here we have 6 times 100, which is going to give us 600. And last, we're going to add these together, and we would get 608 as our final answer. Yay! And we are done with this particular example. So for this next example, notice that I have the expression x squared minus 5x plus 41, and x is equal to 4. Well, which x do I substitute? So which x do I substitute the 4 in for? Do I do it in here or do I do it here? And the answer to that is yes. You do it in both. You do it in every instance where you see x, it is going to be replaced with the value 4. So let's replace this x with 4 and this x with 4, and then I'm going to apply my exponent. So 4 squared will give me 16. So 16 minus 5 times 4 plus 41. No, let's see, we've taken care of, there were no grouping symbols. We've taken care of exponents. So now we want to multiply and or divide. Okay, so no multiplication or division here, but I have something here, but nothing here. So we're just going to take that 5 times 4, going to give us a 20. So 16 minus 20 plus 41. And now I'm just going to add these from left to right. So 16 minus 20 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 41 is positive 37. And that will be our answer. So in this last example, x squared minus 3 times x minus y, we're going to replace every instance of x, which happens here and here, with 4, and every instance of y with 1. So replacing the x's and the y's gives us this expression with the values included. So now our grouping symbols, we see a set of parentheses, 4 minus 1. We're going to simplify that. So those parentheses will be replaced with just the quantity of 3. Our exponent can then be evaluated. So 4 squared is going to give us 16. And we've got 16 minus 3 times 3. Next thing is multiplication and division. We only have one instance of that. That's towards the end here. We've got 3 times 3, which is going to give us 16 minus 9. And then our addition and subtraction, which is going to give us 7. So these are our 3 examples of evaluating algebraic expressions. And next time we're going to talk about the union and intersection of sets. I'll see you then.